Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are laying out the complete blueprint for launching a Shopify store that's built to win in 2026. This isn't just about picking a theme and some colors. Nope. We're talking about building the architecture for a real business right from the very first click.
So you're thinking about building an online store. It's an awesome idea, right? But let's be real, the market is crowded. The big question is, how do you build something that doesn't just launch, but actually thrives?
And that right there is the key mindset shift for 2026. You are not just setting up a shop. You are designing a commercial architecture. Every single decision you make, from the plan you choose to the checkout you offer, is a critical piece of that structure.
We're going to tackle this in 4 key phases. First, building your foundation. Then, designing your storefront. After that, we'll get into powering your business. And finally, we'll cover preparing for launch.
Okay, let's dive into phase 1, the blueprint. These are the non-negotiable, foundational decisions that everything else will stand on. You know, getting this part right from the get-go is what allows you to scale up later without everything falling apart.
First things first, let's talk plans. And you've got to pay attention to the math here. That $5 starter plan? With a 5% transaction fee, it's basically a trap for any serious business. Your real decision is between basic, grow, and advanced. And notice the pattern. As the monthly cost goes up, the fee Shopify takes from every single sale goes way down.
So what's the bottom line here? For almost everybody starting out, the basic plan is the absolute strategic choice. It's got all the tools you need. Here's a good rule of thumb. Stick with basic until you're consistently pulling in over $5,000 a month in revenue. Once you cross that line, the math actually flips, and the lower fees on the Grow plan will start saving you real money.
Now, before you even think about design, you have to lock in these trust signals. Seriously, a default myshopify.com URL or a generic Gmail address? In today's world, that's a massive red flag for customers. A custom domain and a professional email like hello@yourbrand.com are completely non-negotiable. It's about looking legit from day one. All right, now for the fun part. Let's start crafting the facade of your store. This is the visual welcome mat for your customers, and in 2026, it can't just look pretty. It has to be meticulously engineered to convert visitors into buyers. When it comes to free themes, you're really choosing between 2 main players, the classic, reliable Dawn and the modern powerhouse Horizon. Now, Dawn is fine, it's fast, but Horizon is built for the way people shop now. Just look at the difference. Transparent headers, way more design sections, and, this is a big one, an integrated cart drawer, so customers don't get pulled away to a separate page every time they add something. And here's exactly why those modern design choices matter so much. Over 70% of all e-commerce traffic is happening on a phone. That little side-by-side add to cart button in Horizon, it might seem like a small detail, but for someone on a phone, it means less scrolling and less friction. It makes buying easier for the vast majority of your visitors. Think of your product photos as your best salesperson. You have to tell a complete visual story, and this isn't just a list, it's a process. You start with that clean hero shot, then you show the product being used in a lifestyle shot. You show its size with a scale shot. You zoom in on the detail shot, and so on. This approach answers all your customers' questions before they even have to ask them. Okay, time to go behind the scenes and look at the engine room. This is where the real work gets done. We're talking about payments, shipping, and all the logistics that can take your brand from a small local shop to a global powerhouse. Inside that engine room, this is your #1 priority. You have to activate Shop Pay. It lets customers who've used it anywhere on Shopify check out 4 times faster. We're talking the difference between a 1-minute checkout and a 4-minute ordeal. That kind of speed is an absolute game changer. And what does all that speed get you? Well, it gets you this. Shopify's own data shows that stores with Shop Pay see up to an 18% higher conversion rate. It just makes sense, right? You're removing all the annoying friction at the most critical point of the entire journey. It turns browsers into buyers. Now, if you have any plans at all to sell internationally, you have to know this term, Delivered Duty Paid, or DDP. This has become the new gold standard for customer experience. You collect all the import taxes and duties right at checkout. Why? So there are no nasty surprise fees for your customer when the package arrives. This builds incredible trust and stops packages from getting stuck or abandoned at customs. And going global means getting local. Just look at a market like Turkey. You can't just translate your website and call it a day. No way. You have to integrate with local payment systems like iZeco. You have to do the mandatory government registration, use their invoicing systems, and even use local shipping apps. And this principle? It applies to any major international market you want to break into. So you've built the foundation, you've designed the storefront, and you've powered up the engine. Now it is time for the final inspection. Think of this as a rapid-fire quality check to make sure you don't trip right at the finish line. First, and this is by far the most important check, place a real test order. Go through the entire flow, from adding to cart to the final thank you page. Does it all work? Are the shipping rates correct? This is the one test you absolutely cannot skip. Next up, pull out your own phone. Not a simulator on your computer, your actual phone. Can you easily tap every single link? Is the Add to Cart button easy to press without having to zoom in? Remember that 70% stat? This is where your customers are. Okay, now look up at your browser's address bar. Do you see that little padlock icon next to your URL? That means your site is secure. If it's not there, a lot of customers will just leave immediately. It is a fundamental signal of trust.
And finally, check your speed. In 2026, if your store takes longer than 2 seconds to load, you're in trouble. You're not just losing impatient customers, you're also hurting your ranking on search engines like Google. Run a speed test and fix any problems before you launch.
And that really brings it all home. Building a successful Shopify brand today isn't just about putting up a website. The journey from a simple idea to a global brand is entirely determined by your ability to execute this architectural plan with absolute precision. So the only question left is, are you ready to be the architect?